There's something else I think was very important with what you said about the healing aspect. It's layers and it takes time. There was a woman who she was on the speaking circuit now, and she was giving her testimony, and she had experienced the death of a child. Her child suffered from birth. She gave birth to a child at a young age, and the child just suffered for 2 years and then died. And so she had a lot of resentment towards God because she thought God was doing this to her child. She thought God was punishing her child. And this is how the devil creeps in, because then she met a man who, when she was at her lowest point, came to her, and he accepted her, and he let her complain about her anger towards God. And then he invited her to a party. This party he invited her to was a satanic party. It was a black mass. And when she saw what was going on, she was shocked, but she didn't want to leave because this is where she was accepted. This is where she was wanted. So in her woundedness of just feeling all alone, where she was wanted was totally the wrong place, but that's how the devil creeped in. And then she ended up getting involved in the satanic rituals, and she ended up becoming a witch. But when I say that, I'm sure some of our viewers at home are going to think like, what? Like, a witch is really real. But the truth is, like, Satan is real, and so are people who worship Satan and give into witchcraft, correct?
Correct.
And as the story goes on, she ended up finding healing because she went to a mass, and because her friend wanted to go to mass. This is how the Lord works. So the Lord, he desires her so much that he drew her back to the church through her friend who needed a ride to church. She went to the church, and she began to do some of her witchcraft in the mass. And the priest realized something was going on, some kind of spiritual warfare. So he was calling on Christ all the more, battling her back and forth almost. And then when he finally bumped into her, he saw something was in her eyes, and he cast out the demon. But she said it took her over a year of deliverance, of exorcism, for her finally to be set free. And so it was a long, long process. But that's just like the process is, even if we take this outside the context of deliverance from like hardcore manifestations of evil spirits, in the process of healing in general, it's going to be a long, sometimes lifelong process, and it's going to hurt sometimes and be painful, but there's hope because Christ's healing power is there, right?
Christ is always a source of hope. And as you were talking, I was thinking how long it takes for plaque to grow on teeth and for teeth to turn yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Many times it's decades. And the same effect can happen on the soul. Your soul can become yellowed, darkened by sin, and it can also have plaque as well, spiritually speaking. Mm. And the natural tendency, especially in our culture, is get rid of it right away. I got a headache, I want to take something, I want it to be gone in 10 minutes. But the normal course of healing is progressive, as you say, and it happens over a period of time. And there's a reason and a purpose for that, because during that time, if we're surrendering ourselves to Christ and we're really looking to him to be our teacher, there is a formation process, I should say a reformation process that's going on. Just as it took time for that person to degenerate to that point, it also takes time in the normal course of things, although God can supersede that and have it happen instantaneously, but that's not the normal course.
Right.
The normal course is to have that reformation take over a period of time. Just like if you buy an old house, and there are a lot of things that need to be restored, that doesn't happen within a day or two. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years to restore a house. If that's true of a physical structure, how much more true is it going to be of our soul,
right,
our mind, our spirits, our hearts, and even our bodies?
Definitely. Yeah, because it's always that temptation to just like, put me to sleep, Lord, and heal me while I'm asleep, take care of me while I'm asleep. But I think there's a lot more fruit that can come if we're awake while the surgery is happening, because we know the pain, we know that the work that went into the healing. And so the benefit can be we can go out and help others, because as we were stressing throughout this whole show, there's something special about community. Whether you're a Catholic, Protestant, whatever, like, we're all God's children, and there's something special about coming together in community, building up each other and bringing each other closer to Christ, right?
Exactly. That same Easter hope that comes from the resurrection is the Easter hope that Jesus calls us each to carry, so that no matter where we find ourselves, that we can always extend that hope to one another. And one of the greatest benefits of coming back from a place of darkness and brokenness and sin, especially if it's over a period of time, is to be that much more compassionate with our brothers and sisters who are struggling, because we know where they are, because we were there, and we know how long it takes to get where we want to be. And so we then become that constant source of hope and that constant source of God's light for them.
Isn't that something amazing that once we've experienced like our own brokenness, that when we see others, people who just like get on our nerves to high heaven, we can really realize, there may be something deeper here. Why this person is just so annoying and so into himself or herself, and it's like because they're broken. And it's so amazing how when we've experienced the healing love of Christ, how we can really see things through His eyes and not see things through us. Oh, this person is just like a terrible sinner. This person is just whatever. But this person is really a broken individual.